Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels, a late night Sunday recording with a late inning reliever, Matt, joining me tonight because Phil got sick and Tyler had to go to a movie, and I get all of that, but I'm OCD, and if I don't record an episode on the weekend, I would get upset. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, Belle, for joining me and not having me
Anytime.
out of a panic attack, because that makes me feel better. This is episode 241, which is kind of insane. It's even more insane when I remind myself that like I have more of other types of episodes than I have of this type of episode. But 241, we'll talk some more Persepolis in a bit, but first we'll start with some news. Uh, Ibrahim Mustafa's Retroactive, which is one of my favorite of his works, and I love all of his works, is in development for Hulu. Um, I don't know if they're gonna make it a movie or a series. I think it could work as either, because it's kind of like the time travel spy agencies. Different countries are like going back in time to try to change things to their benefit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great book. Great book. Abraham does phenomenal work.
It's
Um,
almost like Time Cop there from the 90s with
eh,
Jean.
Probably a little bit of that. But did Time Cop also have to get his grandmother placed in a memory care unit?
No,
Because that was the side plot.
nice.
You got this guy dealing with like real life stuff while also being James Bond, the time traveler.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I loved it. Um, Also, Aggregate Inc. has teamed up with Hoopla to bring indie comics to the library digital platform. So stuff like my friend Jonathan Bayless's So Buttons is now available on Hoopla as well, which is kind of cool. In terms of what kind of week has it been? Normally this is where we get really sad and angry, Matt and Belle. But the Obama Presidential Center opened and and Barack gave a great speech, and as always, Michelle gave an even better one. And I remembered what it's like to like feel patriotic and hope. So I'm just going to stick with the good feelings right now. And we'll get into all the shit again next week and or when we're talking about Iran in Persepolis later.
Yeah, I remember Obama's campaign speeches from before his presidency. I was like, he's going to run.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, I've read his autobiography and I don't think he's joking. He didn't realize he was going to be running then.
Yeah, it just made sense
That's
to
when
me.
other people started deciding that he should run.
Yep.
And he spent a long time as but I'm a junior senator before eventually people said, look, the moment doesn't come that often. This isn't really a thing that you can like
Pass up.
decide.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, it's kind of like they talk about in sports.
Mhm.
If you're a playoff bound team, even if your long term plan hadn't involved making trades at the deadline to improve your team this year, you do it because like every season is sacred and like you don't
Yep.
go, oh,
We'll wait till next year.
right, because next year might not happen.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. But yeah, I'm sticking to the fun, the good warm stuff this week. I'm certain that we will have plenty about like reflecting pools and other shit next
Yes.
week.
Boo.
And paint peels and
Hydrogen
energy.
peroxide.
Right. Anyway, we have a brand new catalog out. Initial orders are due by July 23rd. The first book I want to highlight is a new Archie #1 from Ben H. Winters, and the absolutely phenomenal Brazilian artist Fabio Moon from Oni Press. For his entire life, 17-year-old Archie Andrews has had it all, adoring friends, football glory, and a natural charm that always seems to make him the center of attention. Now, through his eyes, experience the warmth and wonder of Riverdale and its near infinite roster of residents, the popular kids, the endearing oddballs, and everyone in between. As Archie embarks on a whirlwind all-star adventure through his town's past, present, and future, beginning with a local film festival that's about to turn everything upside down. And at the center of it all lies an enigmatic paradox that only Archie's pal Jughead Jones can possibly unravel. This will be coming out from Oni Press. Final order cutoff is July 27th, in stores on September 2nd. Matt, you picked a good one.
I did, because everything by Jeff Lemire is good.
I mean, normally I like Lemire working by himself best, but if he's not working by himself, I like him working with Dustin Nguyen.
Yes.
So,
Ever since I read Descender, I was
yeah,
hooked.
yeah,
So I saw this lineup and I was like, oh, this is my pick.
yeah.
Crowbound 1. It's all dark, but all is not lost. Rose isn't special. She works in a factory just like everyone else. A dark, sprawling, monolithic structure that runs along the coast and cuts the world in two. Pardon me. That's all that's left now are desolate settlements that exist in its shadow, made up of submerged villages, derelict woods, and deadly swamps. No one knows what's left of the world on the other side, but when Rose's young daughter, Ava, is violently taken from their shantytown home a year before she is meant to join the workforce, Rose will come face to face with the surreal, harrowing forces outside the factory's walls, including a terrifying figure called the Scarecrow Queen, who has an offer, one last chance to save her daughter in exchange for her soul.
From Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen at Image Comics. Final order cutoff is August 10th, in stores on September 2nd.
Yes, I might have to call my LCS and have them set one aside for
Make that
Yeah.
two.
me.
Well, I mean, by then you're going to be here, so you
Oh,
should
you'll
have
be
them
my
set.
local comic shop.
You should have Lee set it aside.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, so Firefly #1, the great Firefly crew returning comics from Mark Russell and Lorenzo Ray at Dynamite. As this all new adventure begins, Mal Reynolds is desperate for cash to keep Serenity flying. That sounds about right. While
Yeah.
Simon and Kaylee must pose as a married couple to pull off a heist. They're only posing. When are they going to actually tie the knot? But end up with more than they bargained for when an old caper comes back to haunt them. Final order cutoff is August 10th, in stores on September 2nd.
Okay. So I picked Spawn 77 by Todd McFarlane and Mark Spears. Comes out from Image. Uh, the final order cutoff is August 17th. Will be in store September 9th. In 1977, a young artist had his first ideas for a character he would name Spawn. Now, 49 years later, Spawn is an international sensation that has spawned, pun intended, a movie, toys, games, an animated series. It has been translated into over a dozen languages with fans across the globe. Now, in collaboration with acclaimed artist Mark Spears, Todd McFarlane brings a vision of his original idea to the Spawn universe. So, Spawn. Okay. Oh wait. Final order cutoff is again August 17th, and it will be in stores September 9th. And I picked this because what Todd McFarlane did with Spawn was industry changing. He took one character,
Oh, yeah.
just blew it up, and creator owned work, and the whole 90s. I mean, it was it's very encompassing, and I remember seeing his original sketch for Spawn and was really disappointed he didn't do a number 300 cover with it.
Well, they're doing a whole series with it
So
now.
now that they're doing a whole series, I'm very excited. It's because
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
cool.
So we're rebooting Star Trek with a new number one, 2026 number one from Christopher Cantwell and Dennis Menier. Cantwell already did Star Trek. Um, I hate it when I suddenly lose the word. Defiant. Did Star Trek Defiant already in the last run. Um, so he's got his Star Trek bona fides going. Um, and I can attest for the fact that he's a crazy nutso Star Trek fan. So final order cut off August 17th in store September 23rd. Their mission is new. Their legacy is not. The Enterprise G is on a desperate mission from beyond the known galaxy to relocate the dying Averan people when his crew finds a perfect new home in a region of unknown space called the Epsilon Corridor. Three pristine Class M worlds, the Trinity, await the refugees. No signs of civilization, no detectable threats, a colonist's dream. But the dream fractures fast. When Captain Seven of Nine and her divided, fast tracked crew begin exploring the Trinity, they uncover disturbing contradictions, vanished structures, inexplicable artifacts, time skips, and evidence of a presence Starfleet's century-old probes never detected. Each world houses a different ecosystem, different physics problems, and different secrets, as if they've been curated or quarantined. But from whom but from who or what? The first arc of Star Trek delivers a prestige, mystery-driven, high-stakes psychological thriller of an opening salvo, new worlds, new species, new existential threats, anchored by Seven, Jack, and Crash LaForge, fighting to keep the mission together as the galaxy's oldest ghosts awaken. Again, final order cutoff is August 17th in stores on September 23rd. Love me some Cantwell Star Trek. And now you got my other Chris friend. I can't say Chris around the house anymore. My
Chris
wife
who?
will yeah, my wife responds Condon or Cantwell.
Mhm. Yeah, that's funny. So I picked that Texas Blood, Hell Comes to Allison Ranch, number one by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. Final order cutoff is August 31st. Will be in shops September 23rd. I picked this because I love that Texas Blood, and
So good.
Chris Condon is one of the first creators I talked to on 22 panels.
Yeah, it's such a
So
good guy.
anyway, on March 19th, 2003, Sheriff Joe Bob Coates and Deputy Wilson Hart are called to the Allison Ranch, the largest and richest ranch in the United States, where family grievances are blooming into full blown war. The first issue will be loaded with bonus materials, including behind the scenes peeks, newly conducted interviews, essays, cartoons, and more.
So some of the behind the scenes stuff is they are developing for television, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago on 22 panels, which is why this is actually a resolicit. We had talked about that Texas Blood number 21 a while back, and it got pulled and put back out as Hell Comes to Allison Ranch number one. I've read the first issue. It is amazing. Also, probably one of the interviews in the back, but if not, you can go to Forever Wars and read it. Spencer Ackerman, the Pulitzer Prize winning um, foreign intelligence reporter who covered the Forever Wars quite well for a long time, and now gets to do it again as we're starting another one. But we'll get to that with Persepolis. Um, it interviewed Chris because March 19th, 2003 may have been a specific day in the Forever Wars cycle. And it features into the book and that caught Spencer's attention. Also, he knows Chris because Chris is awesome. He's from New Jersey. So, some graphic
Uncle.
novels coming up. This one just caught my eye, and I don't even really know the publisher, but it looks so awesome that like I'm all over it. Anatomy of Comics from Damian McDonald at Rizzoli, an illustrated history of the most important and exceptional comics of the past 150 years, a comprehensive history of the world's best comics that includes Our comics art includes masterpieces by cartoonists from Richard Felton Occult to in 1896 to Chris Ware today. These comics, populated by metahumans, hybrids, and superheroes, present imagined fantastical worlds that have attracted generations of devoted followers. A critical reference, this book is also a celebration of the characters who have accompanied readers from their forays into reading through adolescence and on into adulthood, from Tarzan to Tintin, Little Nemo to Betty Boop, the Fantastic Four to Batman, the Silver Surfer to Sin City, or the underground comics of R. Crumb. A motley crew of characters, spandex wrapped heroes with impossible muscles, hard boiled detectives in soft hats, emancipated vamps, space opera acrobats in chainmail, underpants, zombies, and scrawny underground freaks span all genres of this international art form, featuring important American and European artists. This broad retrospective decodes the symbolism and artistry of a richly creative form of reading pleasure. So, yeah, I like me some comics history. Final Order Cutoff is August 3rd, in stores on September 1st. I get to go again. This one I have read. I feel so blessed to have been able to read it. The Dissidents by Durf Beckdurf. We've been here before, but we forgot. It's 1960. President Woodrow Wilson, a deeply divisive authoritarian who is also a white supremacist with open contempt for constitutional rights, sits in the Oval Office. Racial tensions, unprecedented economic inequality, a groundswell of support for unionization, and the rise of both a reactionary far-right militia and a growing radical opposition shake the very foundations of American society. A pandemic is 2 years away, and the 1900s have only just gotten started. America is a country on the brink of chaos. The Dissidents follows a group of real and influential political cartoonists who worked for the magazine The Masses. Art Young, Boardman Robinson, Cornelia Barnes, and others, dominant in their day but now forgotten, as well as fictional young German immigrant from Cleveland, Joe Hurdle, who has come to New York to make his name. They rub elbows with the great opposition voices of the day, such as journalists Max Eastman and John Reed, and radical provocateur Emma Goldman. What they document in their cartoons and illustrations is a country spiraling into darkness, under attack by German saboteurs and private militias, plagued by racism and rocked by class war. For the crime of documenting the times they live in, these cartoonists are indicted for sedition and put on trial by the U.S. government, with 20-year sentences hanging over their heads. Two others are forced to flee the country into exile. Others are incarcerated by the U.S. Army and scheduled for execution. In The Dissidents, Backturf delivered a unique account of U.S. history, making connections to the events of today as they relate to the seeds that were sown over 100 years ago. The Dissidents is his magnum opus. It's a gripping tale of political passion, artistic ambition, love, and betrayal, with great characters and unexpected twists. It's a suspenseful and fascinating American story that is almost completely forgotten today, and a terrifying and relevant warning from the past. Again, I'm almost done with my read of this, and it is so good. I love Durf's work to begin with, but like this is absolutely his magnum opus. Kent State is amazing. Trashed is amazing. Everybody knows my friend Dahmer. This is the Durf Beckdurf book that you need to read. Final Order Cough is August 10th, in stores on September 16th from Abrams. And you get to go
Okay.
public domain on us.
Yes, and that's why I picked Popeye Man Overboard by Antoine Ozanam and Luis Ablaze.
Well,
No,
no,
Ablaze is the
it's
publisher.
Lely's from Ablaze.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ablaze is the publisher. Yeah,
Many,
anyway,
many European artists go by one name.
sure. Picasso.
Mobius.
So anyway, Final Order Cutoff is August 10th. He will be in shops September 16th. Everyone knows him. the loudmouth, one-eyed sailor who performs feats of strength after gobbling down canned spinach. With his distinct way of speaking and his catchphrases, Popeye is a funny and unforgettable character. He's also a courageous and good man, a true hero, brought down to earth in this acclaimed reinterpretation by French writer Antoine Ozanam and multi-award winning Brazilian artist. How'd you say it?
I said Lalise,
Lalise.
but I could be wrong.
L-I-S, Lalise. That works for me.
Yeah.
Down on his luck in a world of commercial fishing,
Maturin.
Maturin, called Popeye by some, faces further upheaval when olive oil enters his life. Between romance, family troubles, and economic woes, Popeye still finds time to agree to a scheme hatched by Olive's brother, a search for fabulous treasure.
Yeah, this looks good. Now you get to go again since I went two in a row. You get
Yeah,
to go
no,
two.
it's fine. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
I know.
So, Wandering Sun by Shimura Takako. Fantagraphics is publishing it. The Final Order Cutoffs, August 10th, will be in shop September 16th. Middle School, A Threshold to Puberty, and the Beginning of the End of Childhood Innocence. Shiuki Nitori and his new friend
Probably just Yoshino.
Yoshino Takasuki have happy homes, loving families, and are well liked by their classmates. But they share a secret that further complicates a time of their life that is awkward for anyone. Suki is a boy who wants to be a girl, and Yoshino is a girl who wants to be a boy. Wandering Sun portrays Shuichi and Yoshino's journey with affection, sensitivity, and gentle humor as they are figuring out their respective genders and take tentative age-appropriate steps towards transitioning.
It's cool. Collections. I picked extra ones. They're an extra one, and I'm gonna go out of order because I picked the extra one for a reason. I picked two Archie collections. There's going to be Archie, The Decision and Other Stories Deluxe Edition from Tom King and Dan Parent. Archie's Big Decision. Who will it be? The good-natured Betty or the stylish Veronica? Both of whom have been vying for Archie's affections while trying to maintain a friendship of their own. The three get to navigate the follies of teenage romance in a place like Riverdale, where no one minds their own business and is sure to have an opinion of their own. No pressure. No pressure, Archie. Plus, explore a decade-spanning collection of Archie's greatest escapades, past and present, curated by King and Parent, featuring legendary creators Dan DeCarlo, Marty Epp, Joe Edwards, Mario Aquaviva, and many more, alongside guest appearances by fan favorites like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Josie and the Pussycats, Kevin Keller, and more. And the reason I read this one first, even though it's not quite alphabetically first, is that we read the single issue Archie the Decision, and it led to us reading. They each had a top 10 Archie stories, and we dug up the ones we could find and we read them. And we commented that wouldn't a great Archie collection be just taking their, and I don't know if they're doing their whole top 10 list because some of them are kind of long, that sort of thing. But like to have a Tom King and Dan Parent curated collection of classic Archie stories, I think is a fantastic jumping on point for anybody who like has been hearing about this Archie thing and thinks they might like it, but has only picked up a couple of digests at the grocery store and didn't wind up digging them because they didn't have the right stories. These will probably have the right stories. One of the ones that I discovered because of them is Afterlife with Archie. The deluxe edition is coming out from Roberto Aguirre Sacasa and Francesco Francavilla. When a tragic death befalls Jughead Jones's closest companion, his grief drives him to the doorstep of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and into the thrall of a dark magic that will soon turn the whole of Riverdale into a pack of undead zombies fueled by a desire for human flesh. Hunted by the reanimated corpses of their friends and loved ones, can Archie, Betty, Veronica, and the rest of America's most beloved teenagers battle back a legion of the dead and live long enough to stop the entire world from being consumed by the same unholy hunger? Pal versus pal, classmate versus classmate, living versus dead. They swore to be friends until the end, but they never expected the end to look quite like this. This is from Oni Press. Final order cutoff is August 24th, in stores on October 27th. And I get to go some more. Carl Barks, Pencils and Storyboards, King Scrooge, The First, and Other Stories, the Fantagraphics Studio Edition by Carl Barks, edited by Kim Weston, who also gave us an introduction. Carl Barks, the Fantagraphics Studio Edition, collects Barks' preliminary pencil pages or storyboards of comics he wrote after he retired from penciling and inking, serving as a perfectly legible graphic storytelling map the finishing artist could follow. These are fully written and designed stories which include Barks' hand lettering and can be read as easily as the rendered final versions. The advantage to these original art renditions is that the reader can not only appreciate but positively savor Barks' gorgeous, nuanced penciling. These pages display the architecture beneath Barks's final inked pages, revealing how fluid, vital, and effortless his finished panel-to-panel storytelling was, and how the subtlety of his characters' facial expressions were baked into the pencil work. Writing the story and breaking down the page graphically is the cartoonist's first step to creating a comic, and here's an opportunity to see one of the 20th century's greatest cartoonists thinking as drawing. Carl Barks is one of my favorite artists. The idea of being able to look at oversized real link Barks pages is exciting to me.
Of course.
So,
all right, my pick is Harbinger Classic Omnibus.
Yeah, some more great art. This is early
Yeah.
David Lapham.
Yep, Jim Shooter
Might
wrote
even
it.
be the first David Lapham.
Really? His first published work was Harbinger?
I think so, but I'm not 100% certain.
Wow.
It's way early in his published work.
Well, it's coming out from IDW. Final order cutoff is August 3rd, and it will be in shops September 8th. Harbinger was one of those stories that I wanted to read in high school but never got to, and so I've been investigating it as an adult, and can't wait to get the omnibus. Follow the story of Peter Stanchik and his band of teenage runaways. Harbingers are a new age, born with the power to change the world or break it, plagued by emerging psionic powers he hardly understands. Peter turns to Toyo Harada and his Harbinger Foundation, an organization dedicated to teaching young people like Peter. But when he learns to what lengths Harada will go to further his secret agenda, he turns to his mentor.
Turns on his mentor.
Oh, he turns on, thank you. He turns on his mentor, gathering a group of like-minded rebels on the road and always just one step ahead of Harada and his hit squad of super-powered egg breakers. These renegade harbingers will have to learn how to use their powers to change the world for the better along the way.
I haven't read all of these. I need to. They're so good. I mean, imagine if Professor X wasn't completely altruistic and he had Harbinger.
Yep. That's why I love the story. It's so great.
Right. All right. You get one more?
Yes. Usagi Yojimbo by Kyoto 84.
No. It's Kaido 84 is the subtitle.
Oh, okay. Zach Rosenberg, Jared Cullum by Dark Horse. Final order cutoff is August 24th, and it will be in stores November 24th. Osaka, 1984. The spirit of... Why did I pick the Japanese ones?
I don't know. Miyamoto.
I do love Usagi Yojimbo, though.
Miyamoto.
Huh?
Miyamoto.
Yeah, Miyamoto. The spirit of Miyamoto, Usagi lives on, not in a ronin, but in a thief. Usagi Yojimbo enters a bold new era of high-stakes action and hidden history in the 20th century. But when a massive payoff lands him a deal he can't refuse, Kaito is pulled into a deep web spun by forces who know unsettling secrets about his lineage. Now, Kyoto is not just a thief, he's a pawn.
How many different are you like Harry Carey? You're going to pronounce it a different way every time.
It's how my brain does it. I'm sorry. It's that's how my tism man.
Kaido, Kato, Kyoto.
Yeah, 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 So, forced into a deadly mission for a legendary spear, the stakes change from payout to prophecy. His skills and those of his crew are pushed past the breaking point as they fight to outwit the city authorities, outrun a terrifying fate, and accept a destiny that demands their success.
It's been fantastic. I've been reading that in single issues. All righty. Some final order cutoff for Monday, June 29th. So let your comic shops know this week if you'd like a copy. We've got the adaptation of John Kennedy Tools, A Confederacy of Dunces by Albert Montes at Boom Entertainment out on September 29th. Albert Montes was teamed with Ryan North to do the fantastic adaptation of Slaughterhouse 5. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, #1 from Kelly Thompson and Stephen Byrne at Dynamite Entertainment out on July 22nd. Fort Psycho #1 from Matt Kent and Brian Hurt at Oni Press out on August 5th. I've been blessed to get to read this one too. It is absolutely fantastic. Gastronomique #1 from Marguerite Bennett and Helena Macelis out from Boom on August 12th. Miles Morales Spider-Man #1 from Brian Hill and Nico Leone out from Marvel on August 12th. The Smart Division #1, Zach Kaplan is reteaming with John J. Pearson at Dark Horse out on August 5th. And Warbird #1 from Derek Kolstad, Robert Venditti, and Alex Maleev out from Bad Idea on July 22nd. Crowdfunding. We still have Nighthawks by Jimmy Lee at Goats Flying Press on Kickstarter through June 25th. Devil's Due presents Hack Slash and Mercy Sparks from Josh Blaylock on Kickstarter through June 28th. The 2026 edition of the insert name Comics and Zine Fest, run by Emily Mayer and Ryan Carey, is fundraising on Kickstarter through June 29th. They've already met their goal, but the farther above their goal they go, A, the more likely they are to pay themselves for their time, which they very rarely do, and B, the more likely they are to like bring in cool people and like pay for hotel rooms or whatnot so that like the artists are comfortable. This is like the super small Zine Fest, but it's always amazing and I enjoy going. It'll be Sunday, August 30th from noon to 6 p.m. at Oddmart. 2520 Lindale Avenue South in Minneapolis. Oddmart is also just a comic shop that you should go to, period, and probably has the best curated selection of independent and alternative small press graphic novels I have ever seen. I was really, really impressed when I was up there recently. Goblin Throne from Mel Gilman at Iron Circus is on Kickstarter through June 30th. Comics Courier #4 from Tiffany Babb is on Kickstarter through July 1st. If you, like me, like to get your comics reviews and interviews in newspaper form, then the Comics Courier is for you. Noir is the New Black. The Noir anthology finale from Fair Square Graphic is on Kickstarter through July 1st. The Forgotten Divine from Mark Russell and Russ Braun at Ahoy on Kickstarter through July 2nd. I have read this. I have talked to Mark Russell. I've talked to Russ Braun on this podcast. It's amazing. Order your copy now. Go listen to the podcast because they're fun guys. Buy Visibility, Bye, a bisexual comic book anthology from Kat Calamia at Lifeline Comics on Kickstarter through July 2nd. Grawgoer and Shanks, #1 and 2, A Dwarf and an Orc Solve Mysteries from John Lees and Joe Mulvey at Comics Tribe on Kickstarter through July 3rd. We should reach out to John Lees again sometime soon. Haven't talked to my Scotsman in a while. Scar Tissue Bargains from Stephen Fox is on Kickstarter through July 12th. Nerd Emergencies and Other Misunderstandings, a comic showcase of neurodivergent perspectives from Andrew Coltrane, Bartley Robot Industries, and Zuzu Cartoons on Kickstarter through July 14th. I have read this. I have talked to Andrew twice and Zuzu once on this podcast. It is amazing. Learn how people like me live and deal with crazy stuff. Um, and help out some cool artists too. Also, friend of the podcast, Daria Faruhar has a comic in the anthology, Stellar Remnant #2 from Damon George Hampton, who's also done a 22 panels in support of this, is on Kickstarter through July 15th. And Tezuka, God of Manga, the documentary from Jason Cohn, will be launching soon on Kickstarter. Sign up to be notified upon launch and go back and listen to my talk with Jason Cohn because it was also quite fun. Couple of humble bundles right now. Kodansha presents Boys Love Yuri and More from Ichi Chinsha. $30 for 61 items, which represents more than 100 volumes to support the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, and it's been extended to June 26th. And Sonic the Hedgehog, the 30th anniversary from IDW, $18 for 27 items to support the Children's Miracle Network on Humble Bundle through July 10th. So I'm probably gonna have to get that one because I've been hearing great things about the Sonic and Hedgehog stuff forever and just like not been able to bring myself to like research and or spend money. But if you can spend $18 to get a bunch of things, then you can kind of dig in and figure stuff out. Because
Mhm.
supposedly they're actually really, really fantastic kids comics. Um, is what I have heard. So anyway, any of that sound cool to you? You
Lots
getting
of
your
it.
getting your checkbook out, Belle?
Yeah, right.
You're about to bring in the big bucks as a student.
We'll see. We'll see.
Three amazing books this week. I loved Dog Tag #2, the World War II comic from Mark Russell and PJ Holden at Mad Cave. I loved Pear Shape, the anthology of all sorts of comics from Nick Thorburn at Fantagraphics Underground. I also loved his album that just came out, The Cream, which I got my vinyl copy this week.
Oh,
When you
nice.
can when you can have an album and a comic drop in the same week, you know you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And Of the Earth from Chris Condon, Andrew Eric, and Charlie Adlard. Of the Earth continues to be great. There were a lot of great comics this week, but we won't go through them all. I'm done with that. I'm ready to move on. There's no Phil, so there's no walk with Phil. There is a One Piece race, but not really, because I've been becalmed. I'm stuck at 693 chapters right now. I got to get over I'm going to challenge myself to get over the hump to 700 by by next week. Though I have 3 episodes of Static to watch and a volume of Saga to read for tomorrow. So I don't know if I'll get any of the One Piece reading done tomorrow. I'm like halfway, Matt. I've been reading One Piece for 104 weeks and
Mhm.
I'm about halfway.
That's not bad.
Really long. It's really
Mhm.
good, but it's
Mhm.
really long. I keep getting One Piece toys. I have one right here.
Oh, very cool. Are you watching the live action on Netflix?
I am not. I might at some point. I think I'm most looking forward to there's another animated one coming to Netflix next year
Cool.
that looks like it's a style of animation that's more my speed. I've watched some of the animation of the current animated one that's been going for a long time and is almost even with the books.
Yeah, back
But it's
during COVID, the girls and
yeah,
I were watching that.
but it's got some of the anime things that you got to get used to.
Yeah. Oh,
You
for sure.
know, that they're I mean, and I mostly have gotten used to them in manga, so I'm certain that I could get used to them in in anime as well, but it looks like the new one coming is going to have more of Ghibli feel to it than a typical, I don't know all the anime studios, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. Now, and I was so happy that it turned out that we didn't even have to get rid of our great responsibility for this week, because I spent most of the week doing my reread of Persepolis, and I actually got through it. Um, None of us got far enough last week that we were done, ready to be done talking about it. So now I got through it, and it's wonderful and heartbreaking and something that everybody needs to read, particularly when we're at war in the Middle East, but really just in
Again,
general. We have so much trouble thinking of different cultures as utterly different from us,
yep.
and they're not.
Yeah, I'm
People are
actually
people.
right. I'm actually grateful this book was part of my high school curriculum. So I was lucky enough to read this as a freshman or sophomore in high school for
Yeah.
credit. So we had lots of class discussions about it,
Mhm.
and it was really cool. This was the first comic book that I'd ever read for an English class.
Yeah.
And growing up with a dad that did comics, that felt really, really cool to
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah, no, this is a pretty common one in high school classrooms at this point.
good, it should be.
This and American Born Chinese, and I think they hit kind of the same areas, but
Hmm.
with different socio-political context. Um, I guess where this hits me the hardest when I was reading it is all the times where there's like talk of them like pulling the shades to have a party because
Yeah, or to play chess
right, they didn't want to but like
because your neighbors will turn you in.
I mean particularly over the last what 3 years now since the October 7th attacks, too often we've heard things like, all Palestinians are whatever. And it's like,
Hmm.
are they though?
Right.
Are they?
I'll bet you most of them are just trying to live and get by
Right.
day to day.
Right.
Yeah,
And I would bet that would be even more so the less staying alive had to be a major part of their life.
exactly.
Right.
I
Hmm.
mean, we need to go through checkpoints to get to work
Hmm.
and like multiple checkpoints to get to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, when like kids get thrown in jail, another thing coming out this month that I'm certain will get talked about more is, or another thing in the catalog this month is a facsimile of um the first issue of Joe Sacco's Palestine. And
Yeah, I
and
saw
I
that.
can't emphasize enough. Anybody who hasn't read Palestine or Footnotes from Gaza should go read them. Because like he just spends time on the ground talking to people and learning about things and you know trying not to jump to conclusions. Um, but yeah, no, reading this and thinking of Marjane and like how lost she felt. I mean, well, the biggest heartbreak for me was like she couldn't fit in France because nobody was willing to let her. But then she went home and it wasn't better because now she knew even more about, hey, we don't have to live this way, except we do here.
Great.
Um, how wise her parents were and being able to see that, yeah, no, this isn't the marriage that's gonna last. But like for her, I think it was as much like I've got something here and I'm not allowed to have just a fling. That's not allowed in this country. The only way I can do that is if we're married. I'm not ready to leave this country yet. So, so we have to get married. And as soon as they were married, as soon as there wasn't that like, they got to discover that no, we can't live with each other. I mean, thank God they had two bedrooms.
Mhm.
You know. But that's also just so human. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I long ago was the proponent of like spend real time with your future spouse before making them your spouse because like you can't think of the things that are easy and hard. You just have to experience them to discover them. You don't know whether their cold feet will bother you at night.
Right.
You don't know whether knocking on the wall is going to bother them at night so much that you have to sleep in another bedroom. And will that be okay? Will it be cool? Like I was scared to death when my wife and I got to that point where it's like, maybe for the health of our marriage, we need to have separate rooms. And it has nothing to do with us not liking each other. It has to do with we have completely different sleep needs. You
Yeah,
know,
I get it. I get it.
but like the more you can figure that sort of thing out ahead of time, the more you can build the foundation for figuring that stuff out before you've committed to like give up half your stuff if stuff doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly.
you know, for that matter, I love that with the dad. The look, you're gonna say these things. You're gonna tell me these things if you're gonna marry my daughter. Um, that we're both. I mean, they were the equivalent of treat her right and let her walk away if she's not happy, but like in a time and place where that was a much bigger statement because there was no law to back it up,
Yeah, sure.
you know. And I love how like it subtly did the hat tip to, oh yeah, all this shit, we're going through it because of the US and Britain. We had a leader that we elected and was in
Mhm.
favor of modernizing the country, but he also took the oil away from foreign oil companies to pay for modernizing the country,
Country, yeah.
and and they didn't like that, so they funded the guy that was going to make us wear headscarves again.
Yep. There's always someone willing to sell out their
Well,
fellow
I mean,
citizens.
it's one of the oldest stories in America diplomacy. We're in favor of democracy for the most part at home and in words abroad, but
Yeah.
not in practice if it happens to get in the way of our business interests.
Hmm.
If your
Absolutely.
democracy will cost American companies money, then no, we don't like it anymore.
Yep.
Corporate greed. Gross.
I mean, it made me duh, duh, duh. I hate it when names aren't coming to my head. Uh, Jonathan Katz wrote a great book about it's called The Gangsters of Capitalism. And it was framed around a guy named Smedley Butler, who rose to I think the second highest in the Marine Corps.
Hmm.
But like his time in the Marine Corps saw them most celebrated warfighter of his time, um, is what he was. But his time um, saw them seize Guantanamo,
Mhm.
annex the Philippines, uh, take the land around the Panama Canal, lead troops into China twice,
Mm.
invade and occupy Nicaragua, Haiti, Mexico. But in his retirement, he like in looking back on things, Butler had said, war is a racket. I was a racketeer for capitalism. Like as he looked back on this incredibly celebrated life as a Marine, he's like, oh yeah, we went in places and we used guns to
Further our
protect
interest.
protect and or further American business interests. It
Mhm.
wasn't about freedom. It wasn't about the people that like we were, the people that we were going, and they weren't a threat
Flipping.
to American citizens.
Yeah.
We weren't protecting them from their governments. The only thing that we were doing was, you know, I mean, one of the reasons that like we've been so steadfast on our blockades of Cuba is that like it cost American business a lot of money.
Yep.
you know. Um, so yeah, no, it was a very interesting perspective. I think Mara Jane was in her late 20s when she drew this, but clearly had both vivid memories and probably kept a diary just because,
Oh, sure.
the perspective of a teenager seeing all of this stuff. For that matter, the not being able to tell her parents that she was homeless in France because she felt
Mhm.
like she'd let them down. I mean,
Yeah,
how,
sure.
how real is that? I asked Belle. I mean, I don't think you've recently been homeless or anything, but how real
Especially
is
not in
like
France.
not wanting to tell your parents when you screwed up,
Yeah, that's
particularly
extremely
if you feel
relatable.
like they're going through their own tough stuff.
Yep, it's extremely relatable and very scary. So I feel for her.
Yeah. I mean, and that of course is why graphic novels get banned because
They're relatable.
they're relatable.
Yeah.
They're all about empathy. They
Yep.
induce empathy at a level that like almost nothing else does.
Yeah.
And I think it's the art's responsible for that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
100%.
So,
Well, I mean, one of my theories, and I don't know how you do. You're the scientist, Bell, so you can put together the experiment. But one of my theories is that like the reason why it becomes deeper in graphic novel form than in either film or prose is in film, you're watching somebody else.
mhm.
In prose, you're living it, but you're also translating it to your own culture, even if the prose is kind of making it a different one. Like you're not feeling like you're more likely to feel like you're reading a white person, even if you
Art.
aren't.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the reasons why people who aren't white can often relate to books by white people because they're often seeing people that aren't white, even though that's not what was necessarily the intention of but particularly, when how often does skin color get described in a book? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
does it ever talk about Holden Caulfield's white skin? We assume he's a white guy, but I don't know that there's anything in Salinger that requires that he be white.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh
it's
God, you just pissed off so many
Yeah.
I'm
Republicans.
certain.
Yeah.
I'm
That
certain.
example specifically.
No,
Yeah.
no, I will totally say that it's unlikely that, an Upper West Side,
No, but it's just funny to think about.
Yeah.
named Caulfield would be anything but white,
Well, yep.
but I don't know that there's anything that requires it in the book
Yeah.
other than a knowledge of history and the fact that it's just most likely,
Right.
right? Um, but in comics, even the black and white ones, there's generally just enough in terms of, I mean, I think about it in Love and Rockets all the time because I think they deliberately made it not. One of the reasons that they work in black and white is because the features will kind of tell you that they're things other than white, but like
Mhm.
you're forced to empathize in so many different directions because you just don't know.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so in comics, like you've got that prose. I mean, when you're reading prose, you really kind of become the characters. You fall into the story. I think you do that in comics too, in a way that you don't with movies. But because you've got the visual there, you cannot project yourself in the same way you would in a prose book.
Right. And you basically get into
You
the
have
mind of
to
every
become the
character.
character.
Yep.
It's more like a role play with a comic.
Right.
And it's contextual. It's not you only get pictures sometimes. It's pictures all the time. It's
Right.
every single page, multiple pictures per page. You can't escape the immersive experience with a
Correct.
comic book.
Right. Right. Which is why they're so dangerous because like
So awesome.
it is why they're so awesome. But like if you are if your power, if your whatever is predicated on people thinking that other people are different and lesser or whatever, comics is a medium that's gonna fuck with you every time.
Yep.
You know, it's not a great medium for propaganda. It's not a great medium for lying. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not great for it, you know. Um, but Persepolis, like, I need to read more of her work. I need to watch her movies because she became a director later in her career. She's got like 4 or 5 movies under her belt,
I did not know
starting
that.
with the animated Persepolis, but like, and just like movies,
Hmm.
you know. I mean that's one of the things that attracted me when I started looking at them is like, oh, like Persepolis is kind of a book that has a a a message, though at the same time, I think that's just sometimes something that we project when really like she was just it was her, for her it was the same thing that Fun Home is to Alex and Bechtel, but nobody thinks of Fun Home as like activism, right?
Sure,
Nobody
sure.
thinks of blankets, Craig Thompson's blankets as activism. Um, but all of these are just personal memoirs. But like as a director, she did like this one caught my eye. There's a movie called The Voices with Ryan Reynolds, where what it says is a likable guy pursues his office crush with help from his evil talking pets, but things turn sinister when she stands him up for a date with Ryan Reynolds and Anna Kendrick. That's just directing a movie.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Reynolds.
So do I.
I
But I
actually
was commenting recently, how weird is it that his first turn as Deadpool, they had the non-speaking Deadpool.
Yeah. Right.
Was weird enough that they had the non-speaking Deadpool, but that they had Ryan Reynolds as the non-speaking Deadpool.
Well, no one said what was that? That was X-Men. Was that 3? No, that
I think
was
so.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
I mean, no one said that was a good movie.
No, but like I'm just the idea that they would cast Deadpool so perfectly
And
and
then
then
take away his mouth. Yeah.
take away the only thing that makes Deadpool interesting.
Yep, you're not wrong.
Um, it's just, you know, weird.
Yep.
So anyway, how about we move towards wrap up because we're coming up on 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time. It's a Sunday night. People might want to sleep. Who knows? I've heard it's a good idea.
Can be from
Uh,
time to time.
can be,
Potentially.
can be. So I'll start out with the books I know are spectacular coming out this week. Starting with The Eye Collector #1 from Jonathan Ball and GMB Chamachuk from Image Comics. I read this on a whim from a stack, well, not a stack, a bunch of advanced PDFs I had from Image because it didn't look like it was going to be my type of book. I was thinking, what is it, the Corinthian in Sandman. So I was thinking we were gonna have some sort of horror type thing, and like it's got a little bit of that, but it's way more sci-fi
Cool.
and weird and cool, and I liked it, and the art was great. Um, that said, like I don't think it's gonna be one of my top three comics next week, so I wanted to make certain I talked about it now, particularly because one of the books that I will be talking about is an amazing comic next week. Will absolutely be Mind Management New and Improved #1. I've read it a few times. Got to talk to Matt about it. It's so good. It's so nice to have Mind Management back. Um, but then the books I hope will be spectacular. But we've got Exploit #4 from Laura Hudson and Tim Leong with art from Emiliana Pina. This wraps up the series at Mad Cave. It's fantastic near future journalism story. Um, Yeah, I had Laura and Tim on. Very good. White House Robot Romance #3 from Chip Zdarsky and Rachel Stott. You know, for when your AIs of the future fall in love. Uh, first two issues are great. Third one's finally out from Distillery. The Hab #3. Uh, Joshua Dysart's a great writer, but like David Lapham and Bill Sienkiewicz doing
Right.
art on this book.
Yep.
And in chapter 1, there was some Jacob Phillips too.
Oh, nice.
Right. Colors from Matt Hollingsworth, and I forget who else is doing it. Like, it's just like masters across the board doing everything on this book. It's
Yeah.
like the story of a post apocalyptic, like, underground habitat bunker that may or may not be haunted. Um,
But who published it?
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Clearly
Bad
it's a
idea.
bad idea.
Well, I mean, going back to books on Final Order Cutoff right now, like Warbird is by Alex Maleev. The Zero issue was by Jesse Lonergan. Like one of the handful of artists that you could tell me the main artist on the book is going to be Alex Maleev, and I'm like, what? We don't get any more Jesse? um. So yeah, yeah, another good week in comics. I mean, all of that plus some absolute Wonder Woman, some regular Wonder Woman, some Usagi Yojimbo Kaito, some Terror Bites, some Pretty Hate Machine, some Peril of the Brutal Dark, and Ezra Kane mystery from Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. Is Ted okay from Dave Chisholm? Narco from Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard. In Your Skin, Farrell. Bizarro Year None, Kevin Smith. Barbarian Behind Bars, Elliot Kalin and Andrea Moody, and of course the other David Lapham book, American Caper #8, with the dudes who made uh, Grand Theft Auto doing the writing,
Oh, nice.
and David Lapham doing the art. So yeah, you each picked out a giant size trade winner pick. So which one of you wants to go first, Belle or Matt?
Well, you're up.
Oh yeah. I picked this because the title looked interesting as my dad was reading through these. This is Dogs on Dates by Luke Healy, and drawn in Quarterly. Hilariousness and awkwardness ensue as our two love dogs face misadventures, mishaps, and missteps, but also flowers, pasta, sandwiches, and maybe even love. In Luke Healy's wonderfully precise yet loose line and careful wit, Dogs on Dates will quickly become your favorite comics rom-com.
I like Luke Healy's stuff. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'll have to read it.
Yep, and I picked the Casanova Compendium by Matt Fraction, Fabio Moon, and Gabriel Ba. By Image, Casanova Quinn gets ripped out of space-time, betrays everyone he ever loved, and destroys the whole world in his wake. But it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. The first 4 Casanova stories are now collected in one massive, brain-melting, idiom-incinerating volume.
Yeah,
Because how can you not like Matt Fraction?
Yeah, no, this is like, I mean, we were talking about the Ibrahim Musafa's like James Bond time traveler. This is like Matt Fraction's version on it, and weirder, less action and weirder.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost reminiscent of Black Science, but I'm sure it's very different.
No, I think it's better than Black Science.
Yeah.
This was the same time that he was adapting Odyssey to Space. Remember Odyssey?
I do.
This was coming out at about the same time. So this is like Matt's weird existential time. Yeah, I need to reread Casanova and Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba. The next Bendis book club is Day Tripper, which I'm
cool. When's that start?
rereading. Because
When are you starting? Because I'd love to.
no. When I say Bendis book club, that's the one that's on Word Balloon. So if you want to be part of that, you got to either get on John's Patreon or Bendis's.
Okay, I thought you were doing it. And I was like, oh,
well,
man.
I go join it. I go join it. I'm there. Or Bendis's Substack. All you need to do to get on Bendis's Substack, go buy an issue of Powers 25. There's a QR code.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And you should be reading Powers 25 anyway, because it's amazing.
I'm sure it is. I mean, it's Bendis, so come on. You can't go wrong.
Well, it's Bendis and Oming.
Yeah.
It's Bendis and Oming.
Yeah. I recently just picked up United States of Murder.
Oh, so United States of Murder Incorporated.
Incorporated, yes.
Yes. So good.
Yes, I picked up the first volume.
First volume,
yes.
There are 3 volumes. So good.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to tearing into this.
Taki Soma does the colors on those.
Yeah. So I remember our first Powers read through, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I cannot go wrong.
Powers is so good. One of these days I'll get Bendis. I've had Oming. I'll have Oming again. Taki says she's going to make them both come.
Nice. Well, let me know when that is.
Yeah. To Nate 6-7 and to everybody else, we will see you after the next page.